We've been focusing on our cars and doing a lot of street racing, and we've made it all the way to right now.
I'm sorry.
It's unexplainable. I got a whole new respect for that man from what he went through, rolling his car, crashing his car, being on fire in his car, to getting out of that car, not worrying about himself. He did what he had to do.
When I see stuff like that, I go, okay, what'd they do wrong?
The seductive attraction of adrenaline and horsepower courses through Oklahoma's underground street racing scene, whereas beneath the thrill lies a brutal reality that even the most skilled drivers cannot outrun forever. When a routine race pitting husband against wife turned catastrophic, fan favorite Tricia Trillbilly Girl Day stared danger in the face.
Somebody hurry, he's on fire!
How did this tragedy unfold? What dark truths about street racing's perils were exposed?
I got you.
Come on! Over here!
Stay right here.
Join us as we go behind the scenes to unravel the heartbreaking accident of Tricia Day from Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings. The near-fatal accident of Tricia Day and her husband. The underground street racing world is fraught with risks that even the most skilled drivers can't fully control. Tricia Day and her husband JJ Day, both veteran racers on the hit show Street Outlaws, experienced this harsh reality in January 2022 during the filming of an episode for the spin-off Street Outlaws, America's List. It was supposed to be just another thrilling race pitting husband against wife, two daring drivers putting their skills to the test on the streets of Oklahoma City. This time, the stakes were raised. The men of Street Outlaws were brought in to face off against their talented partners like Tricia. Fans were eagerly anticipating an epic showdown between married rivals. The cameras were rolling as Tricia and JJ lined up their high-powered street machines side by side, revving their engines in anticipation. When the signal flashed to start the race, they launched forward with blistering acceleration, quickly reaching terrifying speeds fueled by a potent mix of adrenaline and horsepower. For those first few seconds, everything seemed routine. Just another night of extreme driving on the outlaw streets, but then disaster struck with shocking abruptness. While accounts of the exact circumstances vary, it appears JJ's car may have experienced a catastrophic mechanical failure, or fire, that caused him to lose control. In a panicked state, trying to regain command of the wayward vehicle, JJ veered violently across the center line directly into the path of Tricia's onrushing racer. The two machines collided with a sickening, ear-splitting crunch of twisting metal. Tricia's car was sent into a violent spiral, finally slamming into the protective barriers lining the makeshift track with brutal force. For a few horrifying moments, silence fell over the scene as the camera crew and spectators looked on in stunned disbelief. The once sleek racers now lay in crumpled, smoking heaps of burnt rubber and twisted steel. Had the safety measures proven inadequate? Were Tricia and JJ even still alive after such a catastrophic wreck? Emergency responders rushed to the smashed racers, desperately working to extricate the drivers from the mangled wreckage. Finally, the rescuers emerged, supporting the dazed but miraculously living forms of Tricia and JJ. While clearly injured, they had somehow survived an impact that could have easily proven fatal. In the aftermath, scarce details emerged about the extent of their injuries. Tricia later revealed that she had endured severe damage, requiring major surgery on her hip to address the trauma. Both she and JJ faced a grueling 6-month recovery period, where they had to relearn how to walk unassisted. For a time, the loyal fans of Street Outlaws knew little about the conditions of two of their favorite personalities. It wasn't until April 2022 that Tricia provided an update via social media. In an emotional video post, she expressed relief that after weeks of intense rehabilitation, she and JJ were finally able to walk again under their own power, if still quite unsteadily. The footage showed JJ, still bearing the clear effects of his injuries, working on reviving one of the demolished race cars in their garage. This simple act spoke volumes. Despite the life-altering brush with danger, their passion for the adrenaline-fueled world of street racing burned as intensely as ever. While many might assume such a catastrophic incident would force Tricia and JJ to reevaluate their high-risk lifestyle, the couple has remained steadfastly committed to their first love of racing. Yes, they have scaled back their involvement to allow for a full recovery. They've shown no signs of retiring from Street Outlaws or the associated race circuits anytime soon. Their dedication is impressive, but also prompts reflection on the extreme risks these underground racers willingly accept. A few miscalculations or a simple mechanical failure can spell disaster when vehicles are being violently pushed to their limits and beyond on public streets. Nevertheless, for Tricia, JJ, and their fellow outlaws, the thrill of high-speed racing is an intoxicating obsession that outweighs the potential perils. This near-fatal accident served as a sobering reminder of those risks, but it seems the lure of the streets and the roar of finely tuned engines runs too deep in their souls to ever be extinguished entirely. Tapping into an illicit world of gasoline-powered rebellion, Oklahoma's underground street racing scene takes center stage. Outlaw meets outrageous in this no-holds-barred exposé. Keep watching. Underground street racing scene in Oklahoma and Street Outlaws. In the flat, windswept plains of Oklahoma, an illegal but deeply entrenched subculture has taken root over the decades. The underground street racing scene, despite efforts to curtail it, this adrenaline-fueled world of unlawful automotive competition has persisted, driven by a core group of gearheads seeking untamed thrills outside the boundaries of sanctioned racetracks. While street racing exists in many locales, Oklahoma's scene has garnered particular notoriety and fascination. Part of this stems from the stark contrast of such a blatantly illicit activity happening amid the wide-open spaces and traditional values of America's heartland. Moreover, it's the sheer audacity and passion of the participants that has made Oklahoma's outlaw racers legendary. At its essence, the underground racing scene offers a simple premise: taking high-powered, lovingly customized vehicles and letting them run as hard and fast as possible on quiet public roads under cover of darkness. No rules, no safety restrictions, just pure skill and horsepower engaged in uncivilized combat. For the racers, it's about more than just wins and losses. It's a way of life, a declaration of independence from societal constraints. The racers become modern-day renegades, seeking an uncompromising freedom found only in the howling crescendo of finely tuned engines at their ragged limits. This outlaw charisma, equal parts dangerous and romantic, inevitably attracted the attention of reality television producers. Thus, the wildly popular show Street Outlaws was born in 2013, shining a bright lens into Oklahoma's shadowy racing underground. On the surface, Street Outlaws is a simple premise, documenting the private lives and races of Oklahoma City's most elite street racers as they clash with rivals in a never-ending quest for dominance. The show quickly became a bona fide cultural phenomenon by tapping into the mystique and lawless spirit of this hidden universe. Suddenly, the nameless, faceless renegades of Oklahoma's illegal racing scene were transformed into familiar household personas, swaggering anti-heroes united in their devotion to pushing the limits of automotive performance at any cost. Names like Big Chief, Daddy Dave, and Murder Nova entered the mainstream lexicon as fans across America devoured each exciting episode. While providing immense popularity and infamy, Street Outlaws' spotlight also drew intense scrutiny upon the Oklahoma racing scene it depicted so vividly. From the outset, the show courted major controversy by appearing to glorify and encourage criminally reckless behavior that put innocent lives at risk. Tensions arose as the National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, the governing body of legal American racing events, vehemently condemned Street Outlaws. The NHRA viewed the show as a dangerous glamorization of street racing that undermined their establishment's emphasis on strictly regulated, safe racing environments. For a time, the NHRA even threatened to revoke the competition licenses of any participants who appeared on Street Outlaws, fueling up the drama. In response, the show's production company engaged in heated negotiations with the NHRA to reach an understanding and allow filming to continue under tightly controlled conditions. While an uneasy truce was eventually achieved, Street Outlaws continued courting criticism and legal troubles through its willingness to depict outrageous stunts that appeared to violate any act of public safety. Police departments in various cities frequently fired off furious condemnations whenever the show's crews performed over-the-top automotive antics on public roadways. However, the racers themselves steadfastly maintained that the show adhered to strict precautions in planning to minimize risks to non-participants. They insisted the show's entertainment value stemmed from capturing the raw danger and adrenaline inherent to their lifestyle, a lifestyle that would continue with or without cameras present. Love it or hate it, Street Outlaws brought Oklahoma's insular and shadowy street racing scene blasting into the mainstream spotlight. For some, it represented a glamorization of reckless criminal behavior that never should have been aired. For others, it was a captivating voyeuristic glimpse into a fascinating subculture defined by pure gasoline-fueled rebellion. Regardless of which side of the debate one falls on, Street Outlaws undeniably made Oklahoma's illegal street racing community a household phenomenon. The show's impact cemented the importance and infamy of the state's racing underworld as a definitive centerpiece of American outlaw automotive culture. Smashing stereotypes with every thunderous gear change, Tricia Day emerges as an unlikely queen of the streets. This petite powerhouse's journey will leave you floored. Let's find out more. The daring leading lady of Street Outlaws. In the male-dominated world of Oklahoma's underground street racing scene, one petite young woman has emerged as an unlikely but utterly fearless leader. Tricia Day, better known by her mischievous moniker, Trillbilly Girl. As a core cast member of the hit reality shows Street Outlaws and Street Outlaws, Memphis, Tricia has shattered stereotypes and earned respect as an elite-level driver willing to pedal to the metal against any challenger. On the surface, Tricia hardly seems the archetype of a hard-riding street racing rebel. With her diminutive 5-foot stature and fashionable appearance, she looks more like a friendly small-town barista than a fuel-injected daredevil routinely tempting danger in high-speed illegal drags. Looks, however, have always been deceiving where Tricia is concerned. Beneath that unassuming exterior beats the heart of a true automotive maverick born from years of complete immersion in Oklahoma City's no-holds-barred racing underworld. While some might assume her passion stems from a lifelong love of cars and speed, Tricia herself admits her entree into the outlaw racing life was relatively accidental. The siren call of street glory first lured her in during her early days of dating Jonathan J.J. Day Boss Day, as he was an underground racing legend featuring prominently on Street Outlaws. As Tricia recounts, JJ was the catalyst that first sparked her unlikely but intense affair with the high-octane world of street racing. One fateful night, he casually invited the untested Tricia to take the wheel of his custom racing machine for an amateur run on the streets. While frightful at first, she couldn't resist the challenge and was instantly hooked on the adrenaline rush. From that first illicit joyride as JJ's roller riding sidekick, Tricia soon evolved into a force to be reckoned with in her own right. Transitioning from curious novice to hardened veteran with stunning swiftness, the Trillbilly Girl left a trail of bewildered male competitors smoldering in her rearview mirror as she mastered every facet of the sport. Despite revealing an unnatural driving talent that belied her humble beginnings, Tricia's ascent up the ranks of street racing credibility was still an uphill battle as a woman in an aggressively male realm. She endured constant dismissal and condescension from overconfident opponents who mistook her unassuming appearance as a sign of vulnerability behind the wheel. Time after time, she systematically demolished such misguided preconceptions with her fierce driving skills and unshakable confidence under extreme conditions. Racers who made the fatal mistake of underestimating the pint-sized powerhouse based on her looks or gender were routinely served an embarrassing glimpse of her taillights disappearing into the distance as she blew their doors off. While certainly not the first woman to ever compete in Oklahoma City's illegal drags, Tricia's dynamic personality and relentless self-promotion eventually gained a loyal female fan base, eager to see her publicly dismantle the dated stereotypes of street racing being a strictly male obsession. As her national fame and popularity on Street Outlaws skyrocketed, she increasingly embraced the role of elite ambassador for women drivers everywhere. No longer just a novelty act, Tricia became a formidable queen of the streets, using her high-profile platform to inspire other aspiring automotive competitors of any gender. She's never been afraid to talk smack and throw shade at any overconfident male driver who dares tempt her wrath on the asphalt battlegrounds. If anything, Tricia seems to relish the opportunity to loudly silence detractors with her superior skills at every turn. This brash, larger-than-life persona also extends to her private life with her now husband JJ and the rest of their extended family. Theirs is a dynamic traditional family role with the devil-may-care ethos of die-hard street racers. Tricia proudly embraces the rowdy, free-spirited gearhead lifestyle she was born into, but has also remained JJ's stalwart partner as they raise their children in the same wild outlaw environment. While such a rough-and-tumble lifestyle carries great risks and controversies, Tricia ultimately makes no apologies for her unwavering commitment to the underground street racing world that allowed her to become the icon she is today. Through her uncompromising skill and unflappable bravado, this pint-sized rebel will likely continue redefining what it means to be an elite female driver in a subculture that seldom makes room for a woman's lasting impact and dominance. High-octane glory clashes with harsh reality as street racing's inherent dangers are laid bare. Can the thrills be captured safely? The answers may surprise you. Stay tuned. The danger of the streets and the pursuit of penaltied thrills. The heart-pounding attraction of street racing is undeniable. Few rushes can match the adrenaline of rocketing down a dark road at insane speeds, and engines roar in a symphony of controlled chaos. For the daring drivers who can't resist this siren song, the asphalt becomes an obsessive mistress that always demands more, no matter the risks. Make no mistake, those risks in the illegal street racing world are ever present and often tragic. Unforgiving concrete barriers mere inches away, the threat of cross-traffic appearing without warning, slippery road conditions that can trigger catastrophic losses of control. All it takes is the smallest miscalculation or mechanical failure to turn a hot rodder's joyride into a nightmare of twisted metal and broken lives. The shocking reality is that scores of street racers have learned this brutal lesson in the hardest way possible over the decades. Despite employing strict precautions to avoid endangering bystanders, many overconfident drivers ultimately couldn't outrun the harsh reality that public roads are never a safe place to truly open up their cars to the ragged edge for any extended period. Oklahoma City's own Tricia Trillbilly Girl experienced this sobering truth firsthand during a near-fatal accident while filming for the show Street Outlaws in 2022. What should have been just another thrilling round of street competition between Tricia and her husband JJ instead became a horrifying reminder that racing skills and safety gear can only mitigate so much risk. In the blink of an eye, Tricia went from chasing adrenaline glory to fighting for her very life as her high-powered machine was violently transformed into a crumpled wad of twisted scrap after a catastrophic impact with barriers lining the makeshift track. It took a Herculean effort by emergency crews using the jaws of life to extract Tricia from the mangled wreckage before she could receive life-saving medical treatment. Miraculously, both Tricia and JJ eventually recovered from injuries that could have easily proven fatal, but the mental and physical trauma of that day left indelible scars. No longer could either driver naively dismiss the extreme risks they had been willingly courting every time they slipped behind the wheel on the illegal underground circuits. Unfortunately, the day's terrifying brush with disaster is far from an isolated incident in the street racing world. With alarming frequency, thrill-seeking drivers from coast to coast have paid the ultimate price for their high-velocity obsession when things go wrong at triple-digit speeds on non-sanctioned courses. Beyond the drivers themselves, the reckless activities of street racing crews have also impacted horrified bystanders and innocent motorists in the wrong place at the wrong time. Uncontrolled street races have triggered nightmarish multi-car pileups after the inevitable loss of vehicle control. Pedestrians have been mowed down without warning by racers more focused on lighting up the asphalt than public safety. We know street racing on open roads in the manner frequently depicted on reality TV shows like Street Outlaws might look intoxicatingly badass. But it's a game of Russian roulette, where the chamber gets more lethally loaded with every roaring pass down a city street or deserted back road. No amount of skill or bravado can fully compensate for the incalculable number of variables that could instantly turn a night's fun into an unspeakable tragedy. This is precisely why legitimate motorsports governing bodies like the National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, have fought so vehemently against glorifying or downplaying the illegal street racing scene. While undeniably intriguing and steeped in outlaw mystique, NHRA officials understand how easily its reckless antics could inspire untrained imitators to dangerously recreate what they see on TV without a full appreciation of the risks. Rather than perpetuating a culture of brazen lawlessness on public roads, the NHRA and similar organizations have spent decades promoting an alternative reality, bringing the intense thrills of drag racing and high-speed competitions into controlled environments with vital safety precautions and emergency response measures in place. At sanctioned drag strips, racetracks, and other regulated venues across America, auto enthusiasts of every skill level can indulge their needs for speed while minimizing senseless risks to themselves and others. Reinforced concrete barriers, dedicated runoff areas, meticulous track preparations, and skilled safety crews are just some precautions that allow racers to push their machines to the razor's edge without dicing with danger at every pass. Contrary to some portrayals, these sanctioned events are far from sober, corporate-controlled affairs with a bunch of tough rules sucking out all the excitement and danger. Quite the opposite, in fact. Many of these venues actively court the edgy anti-establishment attitude embodied by street racing's biggest outlaw names, while still mandating drill levels of on-site protection that could never exist on civic streets. As such, a growing number of former street racing icons have been making the personal transition to the controlled thrills of legitimate motorsports venues in recent years. While still unquestionably risky pursuits, drivers who ply their skills on sanctioned drag strips at least know paramedics and fire crews are mere seconds away if things go sideways, not desperately calling 911 from whatever remote public road they've chosen for the night's escapades. The sad reality is that street racing, despite its undeniable mystique and electric thrills, carries an unacceptable level of risk to society that simply cannot be adequately mitigated or justified through any safety precautions or regulations. As cool as it might feel swapping gears while dodging cross-traffic at triple-digit speeds, it's still an Outlaws game of Russian roulette at its core. Ultimately, those seeking to indulge their need for track-burning speed without gambling their lives away would be wise to turn their passions toward the relative safety of motorsports venues built specifically to balance high-octane excitement with vital protection measures. It might not have quite the same glamour as midnight street racing, but maintaining one's ability to walk away after a catastrophic crash does carry its own appeal. Shattering glass ceilings with every blistering launch, fearless female drivers are disrupting street racing's old boys club. Get inspired by their trailblazing stories. Don't go anywhere. Women leading the charge on the streets. While Tricia Trillbilly Girl Day has undoubtedly become one of the most famous and pioneering faces shattering gender barriers in recent years, she's far from the only woman making a seismic impact on the traditionally male-dominated street racing scene. From coast to coast, a new wave of fearless female drivers has been disrupting long-held stereotypes with their skills behind the wheel and entrepreneurial spirit. At the vanguard of this movement is Lizzie Musi, a Pennsylvania-born drag racer who has been leaving competitors of all genders smoldering in her nitrous-blazed wake since her teenage years. Despite her relatively small 5'2" stature, Musi looms larger than life in the drag racing world as one of its most successful competitors and business mavens over the past decade. Her stats alone are enough to command respect. Musi was the first female driver to win the NHRA Pro Nitrous Championship and has racked up over 20 national event victories on some of the biggest stages in all of motorsports. More impressively, she accomplished these milestones while still in her early 20s, degrading every assumption that women couldn't thrive in this male-centric realm. Driving for her own family's multi-million-dollar racing team based out of the Musi Racing Engine shop, Lizzie oversees a literal empire dedicated to pure straight-line speed. Her 6,000 horsepower nitrous-injected monsters pump out incredible power that few humans can even fathom controlling at over 200 miles per hour. For Lizzie, such feats of vehicular domination are just another day at the office. With her signature shock of neon-bright hair and bold, unapologetic personality, it's little wonder this 21 Century Titian has become an empowering role model for aspiring young women. Ever eager to pay her inspirational platform forward, Musi actively works to break down antiquated stigmas, suggesting that women don't belong behind the wheel of anything with over 1,000 horsepower. On the western front of this femme motorsports revolution, Leah Pruitt has also staked her own formidable claim as one of the baddest women on the planet. As a professional NHRA drag racer in both the Top Fuel and Factory Stock Showdown classes, Pruitt's combination of skill, bravery, and self-promotion has made her a veritable marketing juggernaut able to attract big-name sponsors like Dodge, Mopar, and Payne Racing. Her driving speaks for itself. Pruitt is an 8-time NHRA national event winner and one of the few women ever to hoist the coveted NHRA Factory Stock Showdown World Championship trophy. She's also smartly leveraged her role model status to amplify her brand far beyond the drag strip as a motivational speaker, social media influencer, and model. Of course, no discussion of modern street racing icons would feel complete without mentioning Armani Johnson and Sarah Rocker, two grassroots heroines proving daily that manhandling high-horsepower autos has nothing to do with gender. The duo burst into public consciousness as larger-than-life personalities on the hit reality TV show Street Outlaws, where their on-camera clashes and prodigious skills instantly captivated fans across America. Hailing from Oklahoma City's gritty street racing underground, Johnson and Rocker bring a raw authenticity, an unapologetic swagger to the sport that feels like a refreshing tonic in today's overproduced media. Both admit they endured years of skepticism, scorn, and dismissal from overconfident male drivers who underestimated their commitment and abilities based solely on their gender. Those doubters quickly ate their words the instant Johnson and Rocker planted their hopped-up Street Outlaws chariots at the green light, fearlessly staging side by side with any male challenger foolish enough to question their grit and hitting speeds well into the triple digits before most spectators could even register what occurred. More than just straight-line savages, Johnson and Rocker have become exemplars of an empowered modern femininity within the street racing world, proudly representing women who build, wrench on, and drive their own extreme machines with the same passion as any crusty old gearhead. Their mere presence at street racing meetups across Oklahoma and beyond serves as inspiration for other women intrigued by the culture, but previously intimidated by its outward machismo. While women like Tricia Day, Lizzie Moosey, Leah Pruitt, Armani Johnson, and Sarah Rocker have undoubtedly broken through some major glass ceilings for female participation in grassroots and professional motorsports, they would be the first to admit that the battle for true gender parity on the streets and track is still far from over. Prejudices and stereotypes still linger about a woman's rightful place in this vividly hyper-masculine road. Even at sanctioned motorsports events with strict regulations and rules designed to promote meritocracy, many female competitors still endure dismissive taunts and condescending attitudes from some participants mired in the old school mentality, resisting this changing tide. As this inspiring legion of 21 Century throttle queens demonstrates time and again, nothing shatters such outdated stereotypes more forcefully than getting mercilessly gapped by a female rival sporting a wicked smile in your rearview mirror. With every thunderous roar of their engines drowning out the catcalls from spectators, these elite drivers are staking an indelible claim that skill, commitment, and bravado transcend antiquated gender roles in the racing world. While cultural revolutions of any sort take time, this growing tide of empowered female street racers is undoubtedly accelerating the sport's progression from an old boys club into a daring new future, where the streets belong to anyone, regardless of gender or background, brave enough to ante up and put their driving talent to the ultimate test. What do you think about the heartbreaking tragedy of Tricia Day from Street Outlaws in the No Prep King drag race? Share your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos.